Probably David Cronenberg's best and most accomplished film of his career at the time of release, Scanners helped to mould the template for telepathic horror, a subgenre that would come and go fairly regular in various forms throughout the 80s and 90s, even make a monumental impact on modern society with the likes of Stranger Things in 2016. It's a bit like Cronenberg's sinister version of the Jedi mind trick from Star Wars, but Scanners goes one step further, and as with most of Cronenberg's features, the blood and gore and practical effects take over, and he will always create scenes that leave the viewer shocked by the end credits. Michael Ironside stars as Darrell Revick, a powerful and dangerous telepath labelled as a scanner who is wanted by a mysterious group known as ConSec. This group needs to find and apprehend Revick as soon as possible because the scanner has plans to use his special abilities in unison with other scanners to take over the world. To do this successfully, they abduct and hire Cameron Vale, played by Stephen Lack, a homeless man with similarly deadly telepathic abilities, who they train to track down Revick with the hope that he can defeat him. Vale is a troubled drifter who hears voices but is unaware of his powers. While there are certainly lots of horror elements to the film, with the innovative practical effects being a huge standout, it is essentially a dark paranoid thriller about ill-advised scientific experiments and corporate agendas, and it seems that Cronenberg has tapped into his love of Marvel Comics for inspiration, but put his own twisted spin on it. This was also the early 80s when political landscapes around the world were changing and conspiracy theories were really beginning to rear their head to the public. DTC pharmaceuticals became the norm, there was a societal uneasiness, and some dark truths about the government were unveiled. Cronenberg used that. Watching this 4K restoration is like re-watching Scanners for the first time. The sound is impeccable, really highlighting Howard Shore's weird genius, and the crisp visuals enunciate the futuristic imagery and grisly makeup effects by the legendary Dick Smith and Chris Wallace. The latter of whom is interviewed as part of the fascinating and insightful special features. Ironside steals the film with his otherworldly intensity, while Lack whimpers as the reluctant hero. The pacing isn't quite there, and the characters don't necessarily feel complete, but this is a film that is really all about the cutting-edge story that lives and dies by its incredible visuals and iconic scenes. Anybody who watches it will never ever forget the head exploding scene, or the epic final battle of minds, literally a combustion on screen. There's something quite Shakespearean about Revick and Vale's clash. A stalwart of 80s science fiction horror, Scanners is an unforgettable experience, ahead of its time that is essentially responsible for introducing Michael Ironside to the world. That alone should be enough to hold it on a pedestal.